What up, party people? Welcome to this tutorial on the virtual lighting simulator. If we were all in the studio together, you'd be climbing ladders and hanging lights on the grid. However, we're not, so we're doing this instead because it's free and it's actually a pretty good lighting simulator. So let's look at it. Actually, before we look at it, let's look at the assignment that we're going to be doing. Okay, so this is the assignment. It's the lighting simulator assignment. When you say there'll be a number in front of it, but right now I don't have the number yet. In this assignment, you are going to be experimenting with the virtual lighting simulator, using it to change positions of the light, change the angle of the light, the height, change the lighting instruments themselves to different types of lights, such as spotlight and floodlight, altering the intensity or the brightness of the light, and also experimenting with gels. You'll be using this link here, Zvork.fr. And basically what we want you to do is to basically create a three-point lighting on a subject. However, I just really want you to play around with it and experiment, like I said. It's more about playing with the light, seeing what the light does in different angles, different positions, different elevations, different intensities. That is a big part of the assignment. However, there is a somewhat of an ultimate goal, which is to create a three-point lighting scenario on a subject using key light, fill light, and backlight. And we'll go over this stuff, how you save those images. Alright, so let's jump over into the virtual lighting simulator. This is what it looks like, Virtual Lighting Studio by Zvork. And the layout of the software is, I'm going to turn these off for now. I just want to use one light at a time at the moment. You have 4 different types of models to choose from. The hairless white Caucasian, the white Caucasian with hair, the female with red hair, and there's the African American male. Unfortunately, this is all the options that we have. However, it's something to work with, so let's start with the Mr. Clean look here first. And you'll notice that he has a light turned on, so that section down below here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that gives us the option to turn on as many as 6 lights to light this one particular person. So let's, if we turn this little green light here, indicates turning it on and off. I think that part's fairly intuitive. This little thing here, this diagram, doesn't really help you too much, but it's supposed to indicate what kind of light is it that you're using. What is the instrument type? You select it, you have the 5 different options it gives you. The first option is like a strobe that you would have on a still camera. Let's pick that one and see what it looks like. Looks pretty good. The second one is more like a spotlight. They call it a strobe with a snoot. It gives a bit more of a narrowed down shape to the light. Right, so that's what the snoot looks like. And then there's this circular light, which they call a ring light, Molly ring light. So a reference to the John Hughes classic canon of films starring Molly Ringwald. All right, next we have the soft light. What do they call this one? If you float over it, it gives you a little indication of what they like to call it. This is the soft box. You can see various slight alterations when you select different lights. All right. So probably the most noticeable variations you're going to see is, again, this is more or less a spotlight type representation of what we would have in our studio. Whereas the soft box is more like a scoop or a LED, which is going to give you a broader light source to start out with, a larger light source. So it will soften up the shadows. You'll notice the difference between the shadows here. Again, this is the soft box. This is a larger soft box. It should soften up the shadows even a little bit more. And it helps wrap the light around the face a little bit more. Whereas if you use the spotlight, the shadow lines are very harsh. It's much more pronounced. You can see how sharp that line is. It's not ideal, right? I don't think it's attractive. But it could be if you're trying to get a dramatic look. Maybe this is a little bit better. Okay, so what do these other buttons do down here? Well, you can put a gel on the light. You can make it horrible, different colors, or you can just leave it with none. Let's leave it with none for now. The plus and minus, that indicates the intensity of the light, or basically how much wattage would be going through the light. You know, if it's a stronger light, or maybe it simulates the spindle effect, spotting in and out, or if it was a LED type light, you can adjust the intensity of the light using the dials and go from anywhere from 1% to 100% intensity. But this is showing you, crank the light all the way up as much as I can, plus 4 EV, I'll bring it down. Bring it almost to darkness, basically. So we'll just leave it at 0 for now. That's how you play with the intensity. These down here are actually physically simulating the movement of the light from, like in this current location, it's off to the side, right? You can tell that it's off to the side. If I click it one time, it should go even more off to the side. Yes, it does. Right? So now it's, you can click over to this lighting diagram, and it shows you where the light is in relationship to the person in a diagram mode. Pretty darn cool. So you're going to be creating a lighting diagram at some point soon, and this is similar to what I would like to see. If I click it again, it goes further over. Now you see the effect of that. As we move around, I'm going to bring it back one time. So that's off to the side, and it's like off more to the side. Eventually it gets to go around the back of the gentleman's model's head. So let's take a look. Here we go. Alright, so now we're like directly behind him. You can see how that looks. You can kind of see it's picking up more or less just the shadow of the shoulders and the top of the head. Keep bringing it around. Eventually, it's like we circle the planet, and we end up on the other side. Let's go. This is like dead on straight, right in front. And you may notice very little detail, no shadows at all. If you put a light right in front of a person, you're going to get a very flat image. Shadows are not really evident in this particular scenario. So that's why we usually start off to the side. So we have a little bit of a shadow playing off of the nose and the eyebrows and the various features of the face. It provides some interest and some definition, and actually creates more of a sense of depth than, the straight on, very boring, like DMV picture lighting. All right. These, again, float above it. It shows you what it does. Move above. So here I'm moving the light higher. So get back down one. So this is where we were. I want to go higher with the light. You can see what that does. Get back down again, go higher. You can see the shadows that are popping in here over the eyelids. Not the best thing necessarily. That's pretty brutal. That's not a pleasant angle. unless you're trying to get a really scary effect. So here's almost like right in front of it, on top of the person. And it looks very Silence of the Lambie kind of effect, which I watched the other day on TV. Clarice. Quid pro quo. I'm watching a lot of TV lately. Okie dokie. So, and then this finally one, move nearer. You can move it. This one doesn't seem to do what I expected to do. You say move nearer. It seems like it reduces the intensity, which is not what happens in real life. So I don't feel like that function is very accurate. Okay. If you want to add lights or if you want to change your subject, so let's change it to a African American model. I think this looks really really nice when you turn on the key light and the fill light and the backlight. So say right now we're using the softbox. You can use a larger softbox if you want. This one looks pretty good. Let's do the backlight next. So I'm going to turn on another light. I'm going to select what kind of light we want to use. You can see the variations here. Actually, this is already positioned, I believe, in kind of where I want it. So let's move it over, bring it around. We'll kind of try to drive it to where we want it to go. Okay, so we're going to take that light. We're going to move it around to the back. So moving it around. Where is it? Okay, it's right behind him. Well, we're not getting a very good backlight effect. We're not getting that hair light. We're getting a little tiny bit of light accenting the shoulders, but the reason is because it's too low. You need to elevate it up so it's almost like a 15 to 25 degree angle. So we're going to move it up and see how that does for us. Getting better, getting better. That's good. Let's move it up again. Wow. Now we're moving it up almost too much. You can see now the light is starting to peek through the person's hair and maybe give us some unpleasant shadows that we don't really want. So let's keep that backlight under control. You can increase or decrease the intensity of the background as well. Not the background, I should say. The backlight. Alright, that looks pretty good. So let's see, we got our key light here, light 1, light 2 is our backlight. And we just gotta put one more in there, so let's make it a fill. I'm gonna make it a larger softbox. And so I'm gonna move it. It's already there. So let's move it a little bit. That's actually pretty good right there. So let's take a look at how that fill light is affecting this right now. That's without the fill light. That's with the fill light. You may say to yourself, kind of boring, not really too much difference between the side that's getting the key light, which is light 1, and the side that's getting the fill light, which is light 3. So you can adjust your intensity down a little bit. You can see though the definition still, yeah. So the shadow that's dropping off to the side of this person's face. The shadow that's off the nose isn't too bad. Right? So you basically have more or less what you want there. So let's look here again. Remember that, I don't know if you guys, hopefully you remember the Rembrandt effect. It's kind of that triangular light that's coming off of the face here. So again, let's move it around. As we move it around, you can see some unpleasantness happening. So I'm basically trying to get that. That's nice. That's pretty good for me. I like that. Yeah. That actually looks pretty nice right there. Alright, so let's tell them. So that is. What else do I want to do? Well, let's just turn all these off. I'm just going to put a light up just to play around a little bit. So let's do some stuff before we make it look horrible. So if we go real low with the light, that's the wrong button. If we go real low with the light, oh my gosh, see what happens there? So what I did was you just place the light really low, so it's actually shooting at an angle upward at the person. And look at all the horrible shadows you're getting. The shadow off the nose, the shadow off the lip, the shadow off the eyebrows. Not pleasant. Or you can go to the other end of the spectrum, keep it going higher, then you're going to get a lot of nastiness coming off the shadows here. Right. Same thing with this guy. Maybe it appears a little better on this person. So, the girl model's got so much hair, I find it's hard to really model her lighting as well as the other characters, but if you want to use her, that's fine. You can just see the dark shadow because we're shooting the light so far at a drastic angle, and you get those horrible dark raccoon eyes. Not good unless you want to go for that thing, if it suits your dramatic purposes. Anyway, I just wanted to play around with that. So how do we save? I'm going to use, I like this guy best personally. How do we save those 5 images? So part of the assignment was to save 5 images. Key light only, fill light only, backlight only, all 3 lights turned on, key, fill, and back, and then also the lighting diagram. So quite easy. You just go, so in this case, light 1 is our key light. Once you get that light turned on, you want to see these little thumbnails down here on the right side. This is a place where you can actually store different images or looks. Capture. You gotta capture. So if I hit capture, it's going to store just that look. If I turn on just the backlight, and I hit capture, now I've captured just the backlight. I want to capture just the fill light. Right, so now that's your key, that's your back, that's your fill. Now let's turn them all on together. Now I'm going to save that one there. And then finally I want to save this image here. This is kind of our position of all 3 lights. And we'll save that one. Oops. That's not what I wanted. Can I save that? Oh, I'm not going to redo this whole video because of this. Alright, well that's not working, so we're not going to do that. So don't worry about that right now. Let's just save the 4 images. I'm going to change the assignment. I'm not going to record this again. Okay, so to save those, you simply do like the right-click Save Image As. And I'm going to suggest you can use you could name them. That's probably the best way to kind of manage it. And I'm just saving it in my download files. Makes it so it gives you a JPEG. So you right click and save image as back only. So fill only. And the 4th one, which is oops. And this is the 3-point lighting altogether. And just learn there was a way to capture that. Doesn't seem to work. Alright, so now I've done what's required. The other thing I wanted to recommend doing is if you use like Google Slides is the simulator for it's basically Google's version of PowerPoint. You can put all the images in one handy dandy little document, right? Let's get rid of them every single time. So I'm going to say insert image, upload from computer. I'm going to try to find the one I just did. I'm going to do all of these. I'm just going to bring them all in at the same time. Pop them in here. Okay, interesting. That's right. It does give you the actual position of the light. So, but that's not bad. Can make a new slide. New slide. New slide. Go file. Go insert image. Upload from computer. Back home. Gone. New slide. Upload from computer. Save image. Upload from computer. And phone. And then the grand finale. And new slide. Insert image. 3.9. So we got all three. We got all four jamming here, right? Boom, 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 boom. That's super. And have a nice diagram that shows exactly where the lights have been placed. That's perfect. Perfect. I'm punchy as hell because I haven't slept well. I'm on day 4,000 of quarantine. Just kidding. Only in parts of the country. All right. That's besides the point. Let's save this now. Let's go file save as, or actually let's make a what I want to do, PDF. Download PDF document. Right? And it's going to ask you things like I just want to save file. Okay. What should Firefox do with this file? I want to save it. Okay. So I put it in my download. I don't know. Let's see if it opens up. See what happens. So yeah, that's beautiful, man. So now you have one document that has all four of the required images, and also the lighting diagram next to it. So triple sweetness right there. So that's what I want you to do. Okay. Well, and then I should say, let me go to my downloads here. So, it's a bit funky like this. Downloads. From the bottom of my screen. What I wanted to do was sometimes I get back here. Downloads. Apologize for the delay. I'm not starting over. It's hot. What? No. Finder. Gosh. Sometimes I'm a dope. Okay. Downloads. That's it. I want to rename this thing. Just rename it. So we'll call it Patrick Lighting. So you could I'd just say, rename it, and then you can go to the assignment and then upload it. Just that PDF, upload it. Right? So you should know how to do that right now. So like I said, yeah, you'll go to the assignment, and these are the stipulations of the rubric. So let's say settings, and say as a student, here, do the test students, do that assignment. I can do it. Never mind all this stuff. You know how to upload a file. You should be able to do it. All right, that's all I'm going to talk about. I gotta go. Thank you.